I was laying in bed last night and realized that I am no longer a beginner. Been doing this resale business for 5 years now. And for pretty much the whole history of my presence on YouTube, I very much treated it as like I'm just some idiot who's figuring it out as I go along. And, just sharing whatever learnings I can along the way as I'm figuring them out. And I definitely am still very far from being an expert. But the reality is a lot of businesses, a lot of resale businesses in this space don't make it to the 5-year mark. And so what I wanted to talk about today is for any of you guys who may just be starting out, or maybe a year or two into your resale business, the single practice that I would say is most responsible for getting to this point, for this resale business in particular, having at least some amount of longevity. Do these need to be resurfaced? Mm-hmm. We'll put these back here for now. This is our naughty pile of all our discs that looking, that one looks pretty good actually. This one might get a pass. This box right here is a great example of that very practice. This is something that I just built the other day because we have this one problem, right, in our resale business. That is every time we bag items up, because for GBA games specifically, they all need to be bagged up and then labeled before we can send them to Amazon. We're not just sending a box of loose little cartridges here. But the problem was every time we bag up a stack of them, when we would go to like stack them on the table and they get kind of high, they actually have an asymmetrical top. They have this curve here and they would always fall over and get super messy. And we were constantly, yeah, exactly like that. We were constantly having to reorganize and like reshuffle stuff around. There was no good way to put a whole bunch of these like in a stack or in groups. So I took one of our console boxes over there and refashioned it with a bunch of little dividers in here into a GBA game organizer, basically. I cut a couple of little finger holes in here, and this thing is going to be a fantastic addition to our resale business. Why do I bring that up? Because the process that I'm referring to that I think has been responsible for the longevity of this business is that every single week, if not every day, I have spent actual time asking myself, looking around and saying, what sucks about this? What sucks about this business? What is some way that my competition could outperform me? What's some efficiency that we could gain in some part of our process by a little bit of upfront work? What's a way that I can give myself the space to grow without increasing significantly my overhead or my obligations? This is a very natural mental rhythm in the Phoenix resale business that I've never really verbalized before. But as I'm thinking about it, like just looking around this room, the number of things that have come about from me asking, where is the bottleneck of the business that we need to overcome in order to get to that next level? I mean, there's endless examples. And the biggest example that I wanted to show you guys today, which makes this very appropriate for this video, is the reason that I'm reorganizing all this crud right here. Because just the other day, I was looking around at the business, asking myself what sucks, and oh dear. Oh, that's really bad. Oh no, this is the perils, folks.
Oh no.
Of what can happen when you're oh no, this is gonna make you cringe. If you have a weak gamer stomach, look away. We had apparently a couple of GameCube titles fall into our resurfacing juice bucket down here. Oh no, it keeps going. Oh no. How did we not hear that?
No clue how that happened.
because this thing was fully underneath both of these. Speaking of things to improve about your resale business, geez, and there's one final little gift down here. Oh, this is painful. I'm relieved that there are no, like...
at least it's Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, there are no melees, there are no double dashes, but boy, you guys did not expect to see that. This is the kind of brilliant treat that you were entitled to on the terrible second channel here. Completely lost my train of thought. I was looking around the other day, asking myself what sucks, and I realized what sucks right now is our inventory management system, specifically for disc-based games. We had a mini solution over here for some of our GBA carts that I'm pretty happy with. But over here, you can tell, this is a very standard week's work at this point for us. We've got, you can see over there, that's today's buy list, I don't know, receipts or receiving, whatever. Those are all the games that people are sending us. These are more or less, I would say, probably 2/3 what we got last Friday. We checked the P.O. box twice a week, and you'll realize that these shelves are pretty dang full, right? We don't have a lot of room to expand, and there already have been times where, like, I'm pretty much constantly reshuffling titles around and putting these up here because we just got in a ton of Guitar Hero 5s, and now we need to shove those in here, but there won't be room if the Metallicas are here, so I got to put these up here on this shelf sideways and hope that they don't fall over. We were doing more reorganizing than we were actual sorting with this system, with the current volume of games that we're getting. So I had to look around and say, what could possibly be a way to improve that system, ideally without significantly impeding any of our other systems. So the solution that I came up with was implementing more custom shelving right over here, and that's what I spent literally all of yesterday on. And also baptizing at least 5 GameCube games as a part of the process. So this whole space I just completed. What is that now? Oh, this whole system is a mess. I'm gonna go ahead and get those 2 shelves. We'll put them into place, see if they're actually working as well as I hope they do, and we'll have to put some sort of a backstop in there to prevent them from the acid pit of resurfacing death. And folks, it actually is fitting that we're fixing this problem today, which just caused that issue with the GameCube games, because Spencer and I were just brainstorming how the heck that actually happened. And the reason is we had a ton of GameCube games stacked under that little end table there because we didn't have enough shelf space to fit them in our organization system like usual. So they just had to go in these huge stacks underneath the table. One of the stacks must have gotten bumped, and 5 of them took a dip into the marinade. So it feels especially good that now that these guys are over here breathing and, you know, drying out, that we're fixing the problem that caused that issue in the first place. And this right here was the solution. Oh dear.
We'll still list all that stuff as very good on Amazon.
Yep,
right?
we'll list it as like new. This is it right here. I'm so proud of this stupid little system. Why is this leaning? That's not good. We'll end up attaching this to the wall somehow. But these shelves, again, I used some of the learnings from the initial shelves that I made on this side of the room and spaced them out perfectly to be able to fit as many rows of games for the space as I possibly can. So let's go ahead and put this in this corner and see how it looks. It's nice that it has a little bit of a backstop there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that, folks. Phoenix Resale making little, seemingly insignificant improvements every single day. That's gonna be my clunky channel motto from now on. I don't do that enough, do I? On this channel, I tend to sort of breathlessly rant for 20 minutes straight because I'm subconsciously afraid that people will get bored and click off and the YouTube algorithm will see that the video is not worth showing to people. We don't take enough breaths, do we? Silence is a nice luxury. I'm liking how this looks right now. It's a little bit awkward with how the spacing is of these shelves. It feels like there's a little bit more room than necessary over here and not quite enough room to maximize these shelves over here. So I may end up scooching these guys over. I don't know. It also is not a bad thing to actually have some space to, like, you know, get in here and add some stuff. But let's test it out real quick here. Let's move. This is the biggest section that we really desperately need more room for. Actually, both Xbox 360 and PS2 always get way too crowded. So let's go ahead and do a little test batch here. See if it's working as I hoped it would. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, folks, that, I'm so glad. Like, imagine if I had went to put this up and it was just like an inch too small and I couldn't even fit it. Oh, that'd be humiliating. That's more or less actually what happened with these, which is why I knew I had to get the spacing right on this next one. Oh, that's satisfying. So you can see if you guys are looking to do something like this on your own, what I did on the back of these, I learned a little bit from my mistake with those, because every once in a while, if a stack falls down, you can see what'll happen. And then if there's not a full row here, it'll just keep falling and knock other rows down with it, which happens probably once a day. So over here, we have a solid shelf method. It's not just like a single stake, but I did put a stake back here in order to make it uniform where the games stop and have a little bit of a backstop so that I'm not just, you know, pushing it all the way through onto the resurfacer. Folks, I have to say, so far, I'm really liking it. The one thing that I did change as I was going on this and like screwing everything together is that on the lower shelves, I actually bumped the stake forward a little bit so that the spines stick out slightly. Walt Disney also had a process similar to the one that I'm talking about. I'm actually gonna go I have a second mini shelf that I'm gonna bring down for you guys to see. Walt Disney had a very similar practice to what we practice here at ReNXP sale, unsurprisingly, great minds and all that. He called it plussing. He would walk around his parks and just look for attractions or food stands or any way that he possibly could to continuously improve it. He saw the Disney parks as attractions that were never fully done. And so he was relentless about figuring out ways to constantly improve them. And I believe that the resale businesses that win and are able to survive, and not just that, but actually grow in the long term, are the ones that have a similar mentality of not just, okay, I finally figured out my system and I have my 3 sources and I go and hit those on Tuesdays and then I spend the rest of the days listing and shipping, and I'm just gonna kind of coast and do that for as long as I possibly can. I think the ones that really end up winning are the ones that take every opportunity they can to improve their system, ask themselves what sucks about this, so that when the hard changes do happen, they haven't just been treading water the whole time. They're actually ahead of where they technically need to be. And so when you have to make the hard adjustments, it doesn't sting quite so bad. I'm gonna get these games onto these shelves. You'll see them in future ReNXP sale videos. Watch this one if you want to keep learning things for your good big brain.